Lose and the EGs who mansion them.
Luge. Good old Luge.
This is the podcast about Luge.
About Luges.
About Luges?
Hakalugi.
Hakalugi. This is the podcast about Luigi's and the years of them.
Truly, the original year of Luigi. 2001.
Okay, so let's just right out of the gate here. This was the year of Luigi? For sure, definitely.
Well, listen, it's 2021 now. So it's been 20 years. And as far as I'm concerned, it's been 20 years straight of Luigi.
Honestly, I just don't feel like we ever really, as a culture, found the end of the year of Luigi. Do you know what I mean? Because listen, that's funny, but that's real.
Was the year of Luigi 2012? And maybe, you know how, people are like, the world's going to end in 2012?
Yeah.
Maybe the world did end.
But the year of Luigi didn't.
But, exactly. We're all, inside Luigi's mind or something.
On 2012, December 21st, the world became a glimmer in Luigi's eye.
Exactly.
We changed forms and never even knew it.
Yeah, the world is a simulation in Luigi's eye.
Mario!
Oh.
That was like your mom, but also Luigi.
Yeah, my mom cosplaying as Luigi.
Oh, Mario. That's a joke for anyone who knows Devin's mom.
Which is everyone in the audience.
Most of our demographic, our target demo is
yeah, when we make ads in a Google AdSense, it's like people who know my mom. That's what I type in.
And that's how we're getting all these 12s of views, 30s of views.
Damn. Don't give out our secrets.
Oh my gosh. The trade secrets. Our competitors.
Yeah.
Well, today on GOG, we will be covering maybe
games.
4 of the most iconic games of all of modern history.
Of all of at least GameCube.
4 of the most important games of GameCube's 10 games.
Yeah.
We won't be covering Metroid Prime or Mario Kart Double Dash, and basically every other GameCube game is going to be talked about.
Here's what I'll say about Metroid Prime, because people will be like, why aren't they talking about it?
The fans are always asking us to talk about Metroid Prime, but guys,
just cool it.
Y'all, it's not the Metroid Prime season. Did we decide that there was a guy who made all those?
No. That's the thing.
Yeah,
but
that's why they're
Miyamoto is the reason that those games are first person. He was like, we should make first person Metroid games.
Then I guess we should talk about it.
Which does go back to him being like, we should make Zelda first person.
Yeah.
He finally just convinced someone to do it.
Clearly it kind of worked though, right?
Yeah.
I've only played a few minutes of the first one of those, but
I mean, they're very well liked.
Yeah.
Yes, but I haven't played any of it, but it's I'm curious. I'm just curious if it would still be fun.
Yeah, I
all
think
these years later.
the weird perspective and control scheme is honestly the thing that turned me away from playing any more of it, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's like Metroid style, where it's it's really weird aiming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's there's just something completely unintuitive by modern standards about all the aiming in every Metroid Prime game to me.
Yeah.
Or any Metroid game, I mean, not Metroid Prime.
Well, was it because so the only one I've played is the Wii one.
Oh, okay.
Where you are you obviously using the Wii remote to aim?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea that existed. What?
Yeah, Metroid Prime 3.
3? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's where Dark Samus is from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in that one, I don't to make it. I feel like they really didn't have to do this, but I feel like you have to stop moving to shoot.
Yeah.
So is that the way it is in Metroid Prime and the ones on the GameCube? I wonder.
I don't remember quite from the 5 minutes I played of it a year and a half ago, but I think something like that. I think the thing is it's like in the 2D ones where it's not that you aim as much as you lift and lower your gun.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably a lot of auto aim.
Yeah.
is my guess.
Yeah. Which is
Or
like,
it'll like kind of like snap to guys.
yeah. See, and that's why I really want them to make the Metroid Prime 4 or whatever it is, the one for the Switch, where it's like, I think that will be the platonic ideal of a Metroid Prime game. Yeah.
All right, but we're not talking about
But
Metroid
yeah, that's
Prime.
the thing that we just talked about. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's not in this podcast.
If you think that that's in this podcast and we just talked about it, you're mistaken. Because this is about Luigi.
Yeah, you heard our little intro song.
You heard the wah, 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 wah.
Huh? Oh, Mario.
Mario. Mario. Yeah, so Luigi's Mansion.
So Luigi's Mansion. This comes from. Well, so this is somewhat significant in the fact that it's the first Nintendo console not to launch with a Mario game,
Wow.
but it launched with a Luigi game.
It's honestly so crazy that even from the NES launched with the Mario game.
Yeah, at least in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's just like
Yeah.
They've like literally like delayed the Nintendo 64 because they're like Mario 64 is not done. So it's like the console's done, it's ready to go, but
Mario is intrinsic.
Literally
to the
no
console.
games that you can play on it.
Yeah.
And this comes from at least partly from like people at Nintendo being like, we have to do Mario again. Like,
yeah.
Like we should do something else. We should do something with Luigi.
Yeah.
And so Miyamoto said that they would do a Luigi game, and he said I did want to put Mario in there somewhere, so I suggested that maybe he could come out from underneath a bed or something, but they didn't really like that.
What?
I have no idea what that means.
What?
Like, is he a ghost? Like
he comes out of a bed and then you play as Mario?
I have no idea.
That's so weird.
That's just Miyamoto's quote.
That's so funny. Well, because they did. I mean, he obviously won to some extent because Mario is he's like the major plot point in the game.
Yeah, you're searching for him.
He's the damsel in distress, which is that's so great.
Yeah. So you've played through the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played through the whole thing. I think like as a kid or like a early mid teenager, a teenager, one might even say.
Yeah.
And then like a year or two ago, me and Andy got on the 3DS the like remastered version, and we played like 90% of it, and then we just kind of gave up at the very end because it got kind of boring.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's.
I thought you guys had gotten the sequel.
No.
Okay.
No, yeah, we got I've never played or owned that sequel. I just it never interested me. Interested. Yeah,
and then the two of us played. Luigi's
we
Mansion
played
3 on Halloween.
That was
like 2 years ago.
Great memory. Kind of good game.
Yeah, like didn't you say like you never played it again after that?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I think me and Andy played it then, like kind of trying to mirror the experience with you, and then it just.
Well, the thing is, like, it was fun until we got like the game like glitched or like.
Remember,
we just got stuck.
Yeah, it glitched and we got stuck in a room. Yeah,
Luigi got stuck, and we were like,
Yeah, he just like couldn't climb up the staircase to exit a room. And then, yikes! Yeah, forgot about that. And it just, I don't know, it just didn't grab me in any real way. Like I thought it was cool, but
in the same way that this did not grab me.
The original.
Yeah.
So what's your history with it?
I never played it, and then I played 30 minutes of it this week.
Perfect. Okay.
I got to the first boss, and then was like, okay, I'm good.
Man,
like,
I just can't even relate to that. How is that possible? How do you not like this game?
How do you like? It's like the exact same as 3, except there's no Luigi. It's like as boring.
No.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's so good.
It's like does it go anywhere else? Like,
yeah, all over this mansion.
I know, but like, is there like any other like gameplay mechanics at all? It doesn't
you
really
suck up the ghosts, and it's like
I'm saying any other ones.
Yeah,
that's what you do from the like.
You suck up money.
Minute 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You suck up money, which is good.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. If I'm being honest, I probably view this game very strongly through like nostalgia glasses because to me, what makes this game amazing is just the details and like the tone of it. And it's like it's just so distinct, the feeling of playing this game.
I think it is. There probably was like a good like showcase of the GameCube, because it is like this game could not have existed on the N64, because it's like, you know, you're like sucking up like all these objects and like dust and like, you know, like sucking like I don't know, like carpets and stuff. Yeah. Like that, like, you know, like animate like correctly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or it's like, yeah, that just could not have existed before.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the deal. This is my opinion about this game and about all the games that we're talking about today, other than Pikmin, is that I feel like the GameCube was a console of games where Miyamoto is like playing less of a role. And I don't know, obviously, but I feel like this is partially why. The gameplay and the level design and the mechanics of all of these games are subpar compared to the previous ones.
Yeah.
But the style, tone, and detail, story, every like all the kind of presentation of it is like a whole new level that is so exciting to me as a child and now.
Here's what I'll say about, like, obviously, like, the music is great.
Yeah.
The thing that stuck out to me is it's like, so like, especially at the beginning of the game, I feel like it kind of like drops off, but like the first like 5 to 10 minutes, there's like a million times where it cuts to a like close up of
the door,
Luigi's hand.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's like FMV. Like it looks so like, and it's like, it looks so out of place to me.
Yeah. I love it. It's so
it's
classic.
Just like,
it's so weird.
It's like a 10 to 15, like 10-second animation, just like, and then like, maybe not that long.
It's not that long.
But it feels so long when it happens. And then it just like cuts back and it's just like normal again.
Yeah.
It's like, what just happened?
I don't know. I feel like it's very jarring in a way that is perfectly appropriate for the tone of the game to me, where it adds to the creepy tone, where it's like this weird movie-esque like close-up on him failing to open a door.
I guess.
It's so creepy in a way that's like hard to even explain, but also...
I don't think it's creepy. It was just like, what is happening? Like,
I don't know. I think it adds to the jarring tone of it. I think that's very intentional.
I mean, I don't think it was like creepy at all, but like really.
Okay, well, fine.
I'm sure as a kid, it's like, kind of scary.
I mean, it's not like I'm not like scared playing it now.
Yeah.
But like
it's like goofy. Like it's like more goofy to me. Like,
I don't know, but it has a dark tone to me. And here's so I watched some videos of gameplay this morning because I don't have this game and anymore. And what I feel like it is it's like it's actually a mixture in certain ways between Mario and Zelda, because the entire game is essentially a dungeon. The first thing that you have to do is get a key to unlock a door, and you have like open exploration the whole game of the whole mansion. It's this dark, closed-in tone, and you're kind of going around fighting enemies and trying to solve puzzles to access new levels.
But how open does it get? Because it seemed like it was
completely open the entire time.
But like, can you just like go? Like, is there multiple routes?
Yeah, no, not
because it seemed like it was very much like, okay, like now you're supposed to go to this room, and then you're supposed to go to this room.
Yeah, I mean it's like a temple in an Ocarina of Time or something, where it's like you have a distinct path of action, but it's like you can go back and you have complete control of how to do it, but there's only one real way, one path to the end. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like the overworld castle in Mario 64.
I guess is it as in because it seemed always like. Very like it. I feel like it was even showing me on the map where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
I think it becomes like I just said, more like Mario 64 because it's like you get to a new floor and there's like 4 ghosts you have to get basically before you can get to the next part.
Yeah,
and you can do that however you want to do it, and you can probably skip certain ghosts.
Okay, yeah. What the great part about the map is it's a Game Boy.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
Do you have a camera on it? In this one, or is that only in
yes.
Okay, yeah, that's really fun. You
because
take like a selfie in the mirror.
Wait, is there? I thought it was like
that might just be in the 3DS. I'm not sure.
I think it's like it is supposed to be a camera, but I don't think you can take like actual pictures. It's just like
I don't know if you actually
you can use it on certain ghosts to like to figure out what their weakness is or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I can't believe you don't like that game. I think it's so great. EGAD, and it adds EGAD, who is one of the most like important like post 64 additions to the MCU, the Mario Cinematic Universe, because he constantly comes back in later games in like an almost Marvel-esque way that I think is so funny.
Besides Sunshine, what else does he come back in?
Oh, he's in gosh, I don't know the example off the top of my head. He's in Odyssey, I think somehow. He might be he's in Galaxy, I think.
He is?
Yeah, I think he has very, very small roles in like many games where it's like something will be referenced as like an EGAT invention, you know?
Okay, well, yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's not like he shows
doesn't
up.
appear.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, Pikmin.
Yeah.
And I do want to start with a trailer for it.
Oh, beautiful.
Because it's a great trailer, and it also just like sets up the game very well.
Here we see a wild Pikmin in its natural environment. These strange creatures become attached to whoever pulls them from the ground, loyal and obedient. Pikmin work together to fight large predators like this grub dog, even if it means
grub dog? I didn't even know that's what that's called.
As night falls,
I did not know anything
Pikmin
had
return
names,
to
really.
their nest to rest for
Onion.
another day of hard work.
Everyone knows the
Hang in
Onion.
there, little guys. Pikmin. Only for Nintendo Gamecube. Rated E for everyone.
That's like the perfect trailer. For
That
Pikmin.
really is, yeah.
They figured it out for that one.
Yeah. So Pikmin, I need to say this as a disclaimer. Pikmin is like Majora's Mask to me. It is among the single most important games in the world to me. I have like
I'm very
overwhelming feelings
about my feelings about it.
Yeah. No, I can handle it. I know that you just don't like fun games sometimes. Occasionally it just happens, and I don't know why your brain is the way it is, but I understand, and it's fine. I don't hate you for it.
Tim is drawing a picture of me with a noose around it right now that you can't see, listener.
I'm just trying to play Hangman.
So Miyamoto talked about this one. I feel like more so than any of the other GameCube games is like talked about like it was like his creation.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't direct it.
Yeah.
It was kind of his idea in a lot of ways. But he said basically his original idea, their original idea was just to like have a game with a bunch of like characters running around. Yeah. And so like it kind of starts, they did like a tech demo called Mario 128.
Whoa.
That they like showed at some point, which was just like 128 Marios running around.
Oh,
and they're like,
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, this is gonna be like our next console. It was like before the GameCube. It's like a couple of years probably before the GameCube.
What if they had done that? That'd be so insane if that was just like a Mario game, but it's Pikmin.
It's really weird because so like Miyamoto, not Mario.
Well, although as we established last episode, what's the difference?
Yeah, same name. Was like through time, through like from whenever like that was like they showed people that to like like 2008 or something. What I don't know, some later 2000 year was basically like Mario 128 is still a thing, but at some point he was basically like you can stop asking me about Mario 128. Like that game just became Pikmin. Like you played Mario 128.
Oh, that's so funny. Who would think that was still coming? Why would that exist after Pikmin?
I feel like because like at other times he said like we're still working on it.
That's
like,
so weird.
He literally was like, it's like I don't want to tell you what the idea is because it's so crazy.
Oh wow!
It's like I don't want people to steal this idea.
I wonder
but
if
it was like
maybe
that was after Pikmin came out, so it's like I still don't really know.
Yeah, maybe there was an even crazier, higher concept idea of mixing the two.
Well, I know some of the ideas from it went into Mario Galaxy because one of the ideas from it was like spherical like worlds that you could run around.
Wow! What if it was Pikmin Mario Galaxy? Pikmin Galaxy. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Why haven't they done that?
Yeah.
His first idea or like what they first kind of made was just you weren't really like controlling stuff as much as where you were just like watching life happen is basically what he said.
Interesting.
He said watch their life was the theme. You chose to either give them love or make them fight. And this is like I found this it's like a very badly translated like like interview of him from like some Portuguese magazine. So it's like
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like it must have been translated from Japanese to Portuguese to English.
Yeah, perfect.
But said it was like kind of like a caveman kind of like thing where it was like you had like you started with two characters called Adam and Eve.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And then there's like they could have children.
Oh, jeez.
And then there was like kind of like similar to like all like the crazy creatures in Pikmin.
Yeah.
There would be like there was like woolly mammoths and stuff.
Oh,
and like
wow.
other like
Okay.
beasts that would like attack.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point they like kind of tried like controlling them like your characters all with the C stick to like make them move in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And then that kind of like gave them more direction, and then they came up with like the throwing people or like picking up people and stuff.
Yeah, that's so funny that
it's
like everything essential to Pikmin didn't even come till later then.
Yeah, it started as like a god game basically.
Yeah, it's like it sounds like Sims or like Spore or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, very interesting. And then Olimar apparently didn't get added until like kind of late. Like there wasn't
Sounds like it,
yeah, like there wasn't I think probably even after all that stuff, it was like there wasn't like like an actual player character that you were like running around as.
So weird.
Yeah, because if you're not familiar, you're playing as Olimar.
Yeah.
But then you're like picking up Pikmin.
Yeah.
And throwing them at things to get them to pick them up or like attack them.
Yeah. So basically, it's like you play as Olimar, and he runs around kind of like Mario or something. You can't jump, but you essentially don't interact with anything. You use the Pikmin as means to interact with the world. And also, I think what is important to me about this game is that it's all framed as you are a scientist, like ship commander, like space explorer who has crash landed on Earth and knows nothing about it and is figuring out in real time like what this situation is that you're in.
Your goal is to repair your ship by collecting all 30 different ship parts in 30 days. Yeah. It's
a perfect game is what it is. That's what's funny is that it's actually perfect because it's like you have this strategy level of just like baseline puzzles of like how do you get all these Pikmin how do you get a finite number of Pikmin to do specific things, and you have a time limit that is just short enough that it feels impossible every day, and every day you lose time in like you lose oxygen.
You lose Pikmin hours. Yeah, what is that the reason?
Yeah, you have a finite amount of oxygen.
Okay.
So on the 30th day you're going to die.
Okay.
So you're running on as Olimar trying to put your ship back together enough that you can get home before you die on this foreign planet. And it's literally like you have 30 tries to beat the game and then the game is over. It's insane.
Well, right. But it's more like you have 30 like you play the levels 30 times and it's like it's not like you couldn't like beat it in one day is what I'm trying to say. It's not like you do it and then fail. It's like you get a piece in a day or two pieces or whatever.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's like the first time I played the game, I didn't beat the final boss. I couldn't. Like I ran out of days and the game ended.
Is there a boss at the end?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's like a final boss, this big climactic boss battle where you just throw a Pikmin at it. Just a big monster guy. And then
is it like to get the last piece or is it after you get all of them?
Yeah, I think it's like you have to get 29 of the 30 pieces or however many pieces there are.
Yeah, there's 30. And I did read that there's like different endings depending on how many pieces you get.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
It's very like it seems like I would be like kind of angry. It's like very anticlimactic.
Yeah, and that is the problem where it's like the stakes are so high that it's like if you don't beat it in this amount of time, you don't get to see the real ending, which makes it so fun or so disappointing depending on how it ends for you.
Well, no, like it's like the difference. I think it might be just the difference between 29 and 30, or it's like you can technically like beat the game with like 27 or something.
Yeah, you can get far less than all the pieces to get home.
But then if you get all 30 here, I have a note about it. I think it's just like maybe I didn't. It just like shows you like it just says like a different message or thing like how like thanks for like hope you enjoyed or something. I don't know. Like,
oh, interesting.
It's literally just like
a
different little image at the end, but there's nothing else different.
Oh, that sucks.
It's like if I had like like played all 30 days and then lost, I was like, okay, no, I need to find out what happens. I'd be like, seriously?
yeah, that is annoying. I think the joy is just in having done it, though, right?
Sure. So wait, have you not gotten all 30 before?
I thought I had. Maybe I didn't.
You probably did, and just it was like you wouldn't have even like recognized that. Was
that's
like
probably
a significant thing at the end.
Yeah, because I played it a few times. I think I probably did. I just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk more about your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't. I just This game, it's to me, it's perfect for two reasons. One, I find the gameplay of throwing Pikmin at things to carry them and multitasking and trying to like manage your amount of Pikmin and get new Pikmin and find the objects and solve the puzzles all within the time limit. I find that to be like as addicting and fun as a game can possibly be. Where it's like an app designed to ruin my life. Basically, it's like it's very like to me it's a very modern gameplay of like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like so like I just can't get enough of it. I get so into it, and then on top of that, there's the whole storytelling method that the game has, where obviously there's no dialogue. There's no other characters. It's the whole game is literally Olimar is stuck on this planet with his Pikmin.
Just making notes to himself.
Exactly. And that's what it is. It's at the end of every day, he writes little notes, and very slowly, at a very deliberate pacing, you find out about Olimar. And it's like, at the beginning, it's like, okay, I'm an alien trapped on this planet. I'm going to die if I don't get home. That's a story.
But then you find his massage machine.
I forgot about that. Then you find his massage machine.
He's like, oh, baby.
Listen, long days, long nights out on the space road. You got to have some comfort somewhere, Devin. But you find out about his like family at home. You find out about like his personality. And I just find it so tragic and moving where he's like,
I feel like I didn't. So I played, I'd say, I think I got like 16 or 17 of the pieces. Yeah. So I played about half of it, I would say. Okay. I don't know if I got that much about his like I think he maybe said something about his like family once.
Yeah, he doesn't say that much, but he a few different times he'll say it. And
I was just wondering if I was like missing, like what I was missing, or
maybe he says different messages based on what you do, but I don't know. I would assume you would have seen what I'm talking about, where it's just there's certain messages where he'll say like, I wonder what my wife and my daughter are thinking about at home right now. I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Like just like that, and I just find the writing in these messages so like subtle and moving. Where it's like this is just a scientist writing out his notes, but you can see that he is like he's holding it together, but just barely, and he kind of you see him drift into like hopelessness. I want to cry thinking about this right now. It's so beautiful.
How much do you think that is? Because this is something we didn't talk about with Majora's Mask, but there's like a bunch of things in that game, that are like references to the developers, like not like having to work all the time and like not being able to go home. Like there's a couple of things. There's like the Deku salesman.
Oh yeah,
will like say like, oh, like I never get to see my wife or my family or whatever.
And that was the developers like complaining passive aggressively through their game.
That's like what the
Miyamoto.
That's like what the translator said. Like that's what he's like thought. And then the like like right when you like first like go out of like the clock tower. Yeah. And there's like the guys building the stuff.
Yeah,
they're like, we're never gonna get done in time.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
We only have a few more days. That's like them like putting themselves into it.
That's so great.
It's like, do you think that this was like Miyamoto and other guys being like, I wonder if we're ever going to see our families again?
Truly, that makes a lot of sense.
I wonder what my daughter's doing.
Honestly, at the bare minimum, that must have been like a unconscious inspiration for those like emotional arcs for Olimar.
Yeah.
See, we're all Olimar, Devin. We're all Olimar.
Yeah, we're all alone in this world, surrounded by little plant guys.
I'm gonna cry.
But Miyamoto, this is what so he is the guy. He is the one who came up with, at least according to him, like the whole that they're like plants and that they grow in the ground, and like he said that. He said, at the time, I've been really interested in plants and gardening and the natural world. So I actually have had 5 or 6 plans for games based on gardening. I have a feeling none of those other ones came out, but
I don't know what else that would have been.
What if he's like, no, like Mario Odyssey's about gardening, guys. No one got this?
Nintendogs is about gardening.
Gardening dogs.
Gardening dogs.
You plant a dog, you pet it, and it grows.
That's how planting works. That's how gardens work.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't there a story about he saw ants at a picnic? Pikmin?
Oh, maybe.
Picnic. Carrying away food, and he was like, "That's a game."
I didn't read that. That's possible.
That's what I heard. That the way that you're talking though about all this makes me think that could be like a false story.
Yeah. What I read is that like they kind of stumbled upon that like carrying things as like, but once they saw that, they were like, oh, this is like what the game is like carrying stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does make sense. It's like they are like ants in a way.
Yeah. I mean, they're exactly like ants. Yeah, like
they have flowers coming out of their heads.
Yeah,
just like ants.
I don't even know what the difference would be. It's literally just ants. They call it Pikmin. But I mean, really, like they lift like more than their weight, They work together. They bring it into like their colony. Mm-hmm. Actually, I mean, it's clearly just plant bugs.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so I like all of the like stuff that you like, I feel like.
Yeah.
For me, and I like really enjoyed like the first like couple of hours I played. Mm-hmm. I think once you get all 3 Pikmin types, you get red Pikmin, which are your standard.
Yeah. Although they are fire resistant, and I've always felt like that's like you basically are not told that almost.
Oh no, you're not. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's really weird.
You're told very little.
Yeah.
Like really. And you got your yellow Pikmin, which you can throw farther, which I feel like they don't really tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they do, but it's like it's not, for some reason it just isn't clear. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they can also pick up bombs.
Yeah, that part I feel like they literally don't tell you. And they're electricity
They do tell
resistant.
you that. Well, okay. Yeah, I think they do tell you that.
Maybe
but
it's just like, that there's something so like almost arbitrary about these differences where it's like, so the yellow ones are lighter, pick up bombs, and electricity proof. Like what?
And apparently they people have like looked through like the files on the actual disc, and there's like at some point all of the Pikmin could pick up bombs because there's like there's sprites of them all holding bombs, like the red ones and the blue ones too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then that maybe they made.
They probably were just like, there's nothing different enough about these yellow ones.
Yeah.
And like, I still kind of feel like that. It's like, when should I use these?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
And
I mean, honestly, I use them all almost interchangeably, or I'll just use. I always use the blue ones like exclusively.
Really?
Like I'll make that, and then if I need a yellow for something. Just because it's like they won't drown in water and they can do basically everything else. So,
but isn't it a thing that the red Pikmin are better fighters?
I was gonna say that too. Yeah. Yeah. But that's one that I literally didn't know until Pikmin 3. I played all 3 Pikmin.
I'm pretty sure they tell you that.
Okay, I had forgotten. I guess because like
I think they do.
And I never noticed a difference though.
I definitely did.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, like if I would try and fight like. Not like the little guys, but like some of the bigger monsters with, especially the yellow ones, like they just died so easily.
Interesting.
Like I would just have no Pikmin left.
Interesting.
But like the red ones would be more like some would die, obviously.
Yeah.
There's you cannot escape death in Pikmin.
You really can't, and it is genuinely tragic the way that the Pikmin die so carelessly, and that the game will like. It's like you forgot a Pikmin? Watch him die. Know that you are responsible for the death of an innocent Pikmin. You're talking about when you... at the end of the day?
So at the end of the day...
It's truly brutal,
You leave on your rocket ship, and all of the
leftovers
Pikmin leave as well if you've gathered them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gather your Pikmin. Day's almost over. Okay. Yeah, so... that's one of my problems is like... The Pikmin are... You can literally be doing like nothing and you'll just lose Pikmin. Like they'll just get stuck behind like a wall.
Yeah.
And it's like you have... And it also like doesn't tell you that it happens.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, you'll just be like walking around later and be like, why are there just a bunch of random Pikmin around? Or like sometimes it's like literally like I lost like 10 Pikmin. They're just like standing there. It's like, why?
Yeah. Often, you'll end a day and it's just like, okay, it says I have 10 Pikmin left somewhere. Where could they even be? Does it show them on the map in the first one?
It shows like little dots.
Yeah,
but sometimes it's like even hard to tell from that.
There's something about Pikmin 3, which I feel like we should talk about all the Pikmin maybe, just briefly. But the Pikmin 3 to me is the perfect one in certain ways. And it's like...
Keep saying P words.
The perfect Pikmin picture. I can't think of any other P words. But it's like you can see them in the map very easily, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's like, I was
curious how it developed because also I know you dislike Pikmin 2.
Yeah. I wanted to get that. I wonder
what they could, what changed.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's like part of my problem is that like they're just like honestly just like horrible AI.
Yeah.
And not like I mean the biggest way that comes out is definitely like water.
Yes.
Which we've talked about, where it's like why would you make it where they will just like sometimes they'll just be like standing there and then just like fall into water. It feels like,
yeah,
or it's
100%,
like,
yeah.
or it's like there's this bridge, like there's water on either side. You're clearly supposed to walk across it with Pikmin.
Yeah.
But it's just like impossible to do.
Yeah, like you have to be so careful about maneuvering them in certain ways.
Yeah.
And even then you're guaranteed to lose one
Where
or
it's
two.
like at one point I was like, okay, I'm just going to like throw them.
Yeah.
So it's like you can throw them, but then if you throw too many, it just like they like kind of like blob out and then they'll just start falling in anyway.
100%, yeah.
So it's like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that is the single like biggest problem with the game.
Does that like is that better in Pikmin 3?
Well, so I would say yeah. I'd say overall the AI,
it's a little better.
I mean, just like literally like, years and years of difference. Mm-hmm. Like the AI is 100% better. But that being said, literally the final boss of Pikmin 3, I like totally died because close to the end, I lost like 100 Pikmin. Because they literally just ran into the water one time, like and I didn't know what was happening, and it was.
Oh my god! This reminded me of another thing that happened for me when I was playing. Like, so in the first like main level, like that's not like the actual first place, but like the first like bigger level. There's, do you remember the little? It's like a little plateau where like the bird guys come out.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I'm gonna say?
I know, but I know that a lot can happen in that little zone.
Well, so that fight was whatever. Like I first I was like, these guys seem like they're gonna be really hard. So I was like, I'm gonna like bring a bunch of bombs.
Oh, interesting.
And bombs literally did no damage to them.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And I was like, this is weird. So I was like, okay. So then I just used red Pikmin and it was like fine.
Yeah.
But then I had them like carry the like the ship part and like obviously all the other stuff that those things dropped. And there's a way back on land.
Yeah.
But like half of the Pikmin just decided to jump into the lake. That's like the more direct way. It's like a plateau and there's water below.
Yeah.
And then they all just immediately died. And I was like, why? Why did this happen?
Do you think you had like one blue in there or something?
It's possible.
And then it somehow tricked out the AI where they thought it's like...
It's possible, yeah. But then
that's so funny.
Then I sent you a video of another time where it's on like the more like watery level.
Yeah.
Where like it's the same thing. It's like it was like about half blue and half red ones.
Yeah. And
they grabbed the ship part and then there's like a water bridge, but then they just jump into the water. Yeah. And this is what like really triggered me was not only did the red ones die, but all of the blue ones died. And I was like, why? Yeah. Like, why did it happen? Why did that
doesn't
happen?
even make sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't
never
make sense.
happened to me.
Yeah.
The blues dying in water.
Like, ridiculous. I don't know if it was just like I wonder if it was like, if you need a certain number of Pikmin to carry an object.
Yeah.
And so like if a bunch of the red ones died, there wasn't enough. So then like they couldn't hold it, so it like crushed them or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Something
It's like that's
that.
the only thing I could think.
Or it held them underwater because they were trying to move it, and that somehow killed them or something.
Even though that's their whole thing.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I feel like that probably was just a full blown like glitch or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was like, what?
No, and see, Devin, all of your criticisms here are 110% valid. Like they're so real.
Yeah,
that's why I think that this game, like as much as any game that we could possibly be talking about, deserves like a full remaster remake for the Switch, where it would then be like a truly perfect game.
Yeah. So I think, and so like part of it for me is that they clearly were very inspired, or at least somewhat inspired by, like computer games.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah, that makes sense.
From me coming from a like the perspective of like playing a lot of those computer games that probably influenced this.
Yeah.
Where it's just like those.
Oh my god, yeah, it's like Warcraft kind of.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's like Nintendo Warcraft. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like, it's probably one of the most successful, or is like the most successful like take on those for like a console.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I know it shouldn't be this difficult to.
Yeah.
Like for me, just like selecting the Pikmin that you want is like so annoying.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand why they didn't just, because this is what I would have done, is just like, so the way it works is you blow a whistle.
Yeah.
And then all your Pikmin like disperse into groups.
Yeah.
Into a red, blue, and like if you have those.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you can like, if you only want your blues, then you can.
Yeah.
But like it's a very imprecise selection.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Where then like, okay, just a couple of red ones are in now.
Yeah.
Got to do it again.
And then now you have two separate groups of blues surrounded by groups of yellows and reds. So if you need to get in the water, it's like, it's going to take you 5 tries.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And also if you like walk up to Pikmin, they just like, start following you.
Yeah.
But that's like, what I would have done is just had a button that would just cycle through red, blue, and yellow.
Yeah, and
like,
that is what happens in for sure in 3, and then I think maybe in 2 as well.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, because yeah, I mean that's an insane system. Like that's preposterous.
Yeah, I was just like, this feels like this can't be how they wanted you to play this game.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, but then I just like I don't know how they did want me to play this, because it's like you won't let me take red ones anywhere near the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, clearly this kind of like commanding small armies is just a system that works best with computer controls, like keyboard and
with
mouse.
A mouse, yeah.
It's like first-person shooters where it's like it is objectively better.
Yeah, so it's just hard like to go like back to this, or like go in this direction.
Yeah,
having those other experiences.
Yeah, I get
but
that.
like. It like I did have a lot of fun with it until I got really frustrated with it.
Yeah.
And I do like all the Olimar stuff and the music and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens in Pikmin 2?
So in Pikmin 2, they add a few new Pikmin, which this is part of the problem, is that I don't think that they're very good. You have a heavy one and a light one that can fly. And I think that the heavy one kind of throws everything out of balance, because you can, like, if you need to move something with 10 Pikmin, you can just use one of them.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like insanely powerful. It's like
are they like really slow or something?
Yeah,
or?
they're kind of slow.
Yeah.
But it's really, there's barely any drawback. The big thing though is that it kind of removes the time system to some degree, where the days are longer. There's infinite days, and if like half of every like level takes place in caverns that you go into, and you go deeper and deeper into the caverns, and when you're in there, all the time goes away. It just stops for some reason. And so, and to me, what makes the game, like what ties everything together, is the like panic of the time limit.
Yeah. And
they essentially take that away. So it's like, it's just like a little less fun, and I don't think it's as well made. And they take out all of the writing. Where
really?
It's like Olimar just doesn't do that, and instead they have this computer system that has its own like little personality, and it's just lame.
Yeah. Well, that's probably like I was reading just like internet guy, like user reviews basically of Pikmin.
Internet guy, yeah.
Internet guys.
Yeah.
And I did see a lot of people like not complaining, but like saying that it was like talking about like how it was hard, and like
The first Pikmin?
Yeah, with like the time like the time limit and stuff.
Yeah.
So that probably was just them being like, maybe we made this a little too hard. They probably went too far in the other direction.
That's exactly what it was, because then in 3, which I think is in a lot of ways the perfect Pikmin game, is it's like exactly in between the two, where it's like Olimar does his journal entries, and there's the computer voice, and they're kind of more balanced. You have a time limit every day that feels appropriate, and you have a finite number of days, but you get more and more as you get more fruit. So it's like it's very
it's a Yoshi game,
basically. Yeah, you get like fruit juice, and then it's like it's essentially impossible unless you really suck at it to run out of days like you can in the first one. But there's always the threat of that, and it's like you're building the stockpile of days.
That's what you want,
And it's like, I'll have 30 days in there, but still every time I lose a day, I'm like, I gotta get more. Like it's like I don't know, it just works for me.
Yeah, no, I think
it just gets me there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I think I probably, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was getting, like they were getting a lot more difficult as, like in those later levels.
Yeah.
And like some of the, like the harder to get pieces.
Yeah.
So, but it probably would have been fine if I had kept playing, because like there would be days where I would get like 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like insane, but it does feel kind of, I feel like if you go through a day and you like don't accomplish anything, you're like, I'm
tough.
fucked.
Yeah, truly.
It's like there's no part of the game being like, no, it's gonna be okay. Like
because it won't be okay. Like you are fucked. You're right.
I thought you told me that Olimar died or something. In 2 or 3.
Yeah, in 3. I mean, I don't know.
Spoilers, I guess.
I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. Well, do you have any other stuff you want to talk about for Pikmin?
That's pretty much it. That's I think that's a perfect description of both of our thoughts on Pikmin.
Yeah. So up next, Super Mario Sunshine. Okay.
Gogging?
Googing?
The Guggenheim museum? Is it a museum?
Yeah, the Guggenheim, yeah. That we're opening.
Yeah.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Super Mario Sunshine! Devin lifted his hand gesturing to me. I could only assume that's what he meant. Did we do that last time when we talked about it? Did we already have one on the record?
Probably.
Okay, then I redact what I just said.
We've probably done it like 3 times by now.
I'm sure.
We've already talked about this game a lot, but let's talk about it some more.
Let's just say all those things again.
This game takes you out of the Mushroom Kingdom onto the Isle Delfino.
The Dolphin Kingdom.
Aha. Oh, and we forgot to mention that Olimar's ship is called the Dolphin.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just to add to the Dolphin canon.
Yeah.
Because if somehow you listen to this episode but not the previous one, the GameCube was called the Dolphin.
Yeah.
Kind of informs the themes or the like vibes of all the games.
Yeah.
Water and dolphins and stuff.
And also Miyamoto apparently said that he wanted it to just like the console to just be called the Dolphin. He's like, I didn't see why we had to come up with another name. He's like, I liked it. It's like, I like dolphins.
Honestly, that would have been awesome because
it would have been really like left field and like really cool. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like you really, I don't know, maybe at some point.
The GameCube is a great name.
Yeah, I like it, but there's something so like deeply generic about the names of like every console up until like maybe the Wii is the first one that I can think of.
Yeah.
Where it's like literally like I remember at a certain point I stopped hearing it the way I'd always heard it. And I was like PlayStation. Like PlayStation. Like that's so dumb. The Gamecube. Like what? That's nothing. That's like the most generic name
as opposed to
come
the
up to
Wii. That's really something.
But that's interesting and weird and memorable because it's completely nonsensical. The Dolphin would have been similar, I think. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Although I do love the GameCube.
Yeah.
I love how its whole aesthetic is that it's a cube. And it's kind of like, why is that its whole thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it is funny because this is something we didn't talk about last episode is that the kind of like the GameCube also has like a handle on it, and they're like people have multiple TVs, they want to move it around, they want to take it to their friends' houses and stuff. But what Nintendo didn't do that, like the other especially Xbox and also Sega with the Dreamcast did is like they were like, they had like a full on like online multiplayer system.
Yeah.
And Nintendo was like very like anti that basically.
Oh, really?
They're like online gaming is like not going to be big. Like
it's so ridiculous. I feel like how could you not think that would become the standard?
Yeah, I mean they were kind of right. Like at the time, it's like it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
They were like, not that many people are gonna want it, but then it's like they later did acknowledge they're like, yeah, we're behind everyone because we didn't start until now, and it's like.
I mean, it's like
they're still behind everyone.
Yeah, they're like famously their whole system for online is completely different than the ones the other people use, and that's why
not just different, just worse.
No, I mean it's like technically different in that it's a fully different system of
but
like
then
connection.
Also like the whole like friend codes and stuff.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean it's all weird and worse.
Yeah,
and it just like literally there's so many games that just don't work on Overline. Over online. Like, do you remember when Mario Maker came out and it was just like it was standstill lag, like for basically whenever you tried to play online.
Well, and also like they like kind of made it a little better with like the second one for the Switch, but it's like I think for the first one like there was like basically no way to like search for like other people's like levels.
Yeah.
Like so it was just like people like posting their levels like on Reddit and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
And like and I think like someone like or I think they like eventually made like a website, but it was still like you had to go to a website and like search that way and then like put that game code in like the like level code into the
That's so bonkers. That's
so
Nintendo.
Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually talking about Mario Maker 2.
Oh,
when it went like for months and months, maybe even a year when it first came out, like anytime you do two or more people, like more than two people online, it would just like
you're talking about like playing the playing together?
Yeah. Oh, like it just wouldn't work because the online was so bad.
So Super Mario Sunshine on the Dolphin Island takes place in a tropical island where you show up, there's graffiti everywhere. And there's evil Shadow Mario has been up to no good.
Yeah.
And Mario gets framed and he has to go clean everything up.
In the most blatant disregard for justice and like due process ever seen in media. It's like, he kind of looks like him. Arrest him.
Yeah. And then
even though he gets arrested for crimes committed over the past year.
Before he gets there.
Yeah, and it's like, it happens. They literally see him arrive in an airplane.
In a plane, yeah.
And it's like, oh, this just happened. It's you. But it's like,
how? Yeah,
how could I have possibly done this? Me being, it's a me Mario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Precisely.
And
so he arrives.
And then you, with your new sidekick kind of
Flood, yeah. Designed by EGAD.
Designed by Professor EGAD.
The MCU. The GCCU.
Tim, do you remember what Flood stands for?
I don't know. That's the voice though, right?
I don't remember either.
It's a classic cinematic
Silly.
abbreviation that could never in a million years have been
I've got it.
Okay.
The Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dousing Device.
That's wow.
Nonsense.
Sometimes though with these abbreviations, it's like there's something about it that's like, I like dousing in there,
Mm-hmm.
It's like it makes a little bit of sense.
I like dousing. I like Ultra in there.
I like Ultra.
I like Liquidizer in there.
I like to be liquidized. Who doesn't?
They turn into liquid.
Yeah.
So what is happening to Mario? So like instead of you're not jumping into paintings, you're jumping into like weird like oil spots or I don't know, like paint blobs.
I mean, essentially paintings.
Essentially, but it's like
because I actually the last year or so I started playing this game, and at the same time I started actually painting just kind of for fun. And the first thing I noticed upon pouring paint onto like acrylic paint onto a palette is that it is exactly what the paint is based. I was like, let's go. It's a me. And then I slid into it and I was slid all around.
Did you turn into a bunch of little balls?
Yes.
Because that is what what do you think is happening to Mario there?
That's okay.
Because that's my question. Why does he turn into a bunch of little balls?
I think that this is dark Bowser magic, and it can't be fully understood.
Yeah.
Baby Bowser.
So, yeah, it's a little bit of a new take on Mario, where you're not immediately trying to save Peach.
Yeah.
But halfway through the game, she does get captured.
Of course, yeah.
It's like, but why did you have to do that? Because before that, you could just like walk up to Peach and be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, it was fun.
And she'd be
it was
like,
nice.
"I hope you're done with your community service soon, so we can hang out."
Yeah, that's not high enough stakes. I think.
I guess, yeah.
Mario can only be motivated to do so much community service.
That
free
is where I
labor.
stopped playing the game, because like halfway through the game, you have another confrontation with evil Mario, and it's revealed that it is Bowser Jr.
Yeah,
And then you have this like
plot twist,
crazy like roller coaster fight with him.
That's pretty
this?
fun. Yeah,
I hated it.
yeah. Of course,
It was like it took me like 20 minutes because I was like, what?
Yeah,
Like they don't
Barely
really explain
works.
what is going on.
yeah, but it's great.
Yeah. and then he steals a peach.
Yeah, he
And then-
steals a peach. Yeah,
Yeah, a single peach, and then the rest of the game happens, I guess.
and then the rest is history.
And like Pikmin, where you have 30 things and that you have 120 shines in this.
Jeez,
And
Louise.
like that, if you don't get all 120 shines, you get a different.
Oh, really? I
You
didn't
get
know that.
a picture of Il Piantamiso. I don't know what that is. A sprinter that Mario raced during the game,
What?
finding the brush that Bowser Jr. used to vandalize Jalapeno. However, if the player has collected all 121 shine sprites, a picture of the entire cast with the words "Have a relaxing vacation" is displayed instead.
Once again, fully worth that extra
Yeah.
like 30 hours of work. Ugh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So
Yeah, it's it's like the getting the stars is the problem in this game.
yeah, like playing it, like running around as Mario is great, and like,
Awesome, yeah.
the graphics and the music are great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd argue the best in any Mario game.
Wow.
Quite possibly.
Wow.
Like, I know that you have your problems with the flood mechanics and stuff, but
Yeah.
just the vibe, the music, the presentation, the like
I
locations.
do have a problem with. It's like this tropical island, and the whole thing revolves around like these people are coming and vandalizing it. It's like the most. It seems like the most just like people in like suits like coming up with like a thing. It's like this is not cool or what Mario should be about. Like,
That's funny. I don't understand. What do you mean?
well, it's like them being like. I just imagine because it's like Japanese people like going to like Hawaii and like other like
Yeah,
islands and
yeah.
stuff, and I imagine
Yeah.
them just going there and being like there's all these people here just like these low income people here like messing up these islands, like making it dirty and stuff. And it's
That's
just
so
like
funny. My first thought when you started saying that was like, oh, that it's like a very real criticism of like the effect that Westerners doing tourism in places like has on the culture, where it's like
yeah, but it's like you could see it as that.
like the Americanization of Hawaii, for example, could be
Yeah.
essentially it's like the story of us vandalizing
But also,
a
it's
beautiful
like
culture.
it's not like a real like it's not like a real tropical like vibe. It could like they based all of the like buildings and stuff on like Italian
Oh, you're
and,
right.
like,
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah. It's kind of like
architecture.
tropical Italy. It's kind of like tropical, but mostly Italy.
Yeah,
And Mario.
yeah.
Tropical Mario Italy.
I guess I guess that's probably because it is like Mario, but why? Like that's never been a thing before.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just the whole vibe of the game to me is tropical. I
mean,
it was
yes.
the whole thing, steel drums and like the music. And
Yeah, definitely.
There's
It's
that
just
one. There's the one world that is like fully a beach, with
Mhm.
palm trees,
yeah,
etc.
but it's just like I don't know. Came across as kind of like dumb to me. It's like
That's funny.
graffiti can't possibly be like art or good. It's like
Yeah, that is. I get what you're saying. Actually, yeah.
yeah.
But it's like because it's
They don't-
not.
They don't
it's
have
not,
like bad intentions. I don't
Yeah,
think it's just
'cause
like
it's not real graffiti though. It's
Yeah.
like a magical spell being cast that literally kills people. So I think that's more the
does
problem.
it kill people?
I think that if this weren't a Nintendo game, it'd be pretty clear that they're dying. Think of when you show up.
If we talk about things in that terms, if this wasn't this game.
Well, okay, like take an example of like a movie. I can't think of a movie. Like a superhero movie where a building collapses and you don't see anyone die because it's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But you know that playing out logically, a bunch of people just died and you saw it. When you arrive on the island, there's a recently done graffiti with one of the monsters in there. No one is there that can appropriately defend against this monster. And when you uncover the paint, you find the what are they called? The people?
I don't know.
Delfinos. You find one of the Delfino people like submerged in the goo. He can't breathe. He's gonna die in there.
Oh,
if Mario didn't show
they're
up,
like fine is the thing. They're like, oh, thanks, and then just like walk off.
Yeah, but I think that's a Nintendo of it all. I think that logically.
Yeah, but you can't like take that away from it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is that when you see a kid's story played out with any level of like magnitude and stakes, you inherently are only seeing some of the story as it's happening because you're through the lens of kids media. Whereas logically,
as a kids media scholar, I have to defer to you on this.
This is kid culture. I talk about this all the time, and it's like, but it's like. In the same way that theoretically, like as a concept, any fictional world exists almost, it's like this world exists and things are happening, but we're not seeing it because we're seeing it through the lens of kids media. So it's like Delfinos are dying. By the very nature that they're...
Mario's smoking, but just when you're not playing.
Yeah, he's European. Yeah, he's a European New Yorker. Yeah, he's smoking. He's a smoker. And in the same way that he's smoking... You see it off screen.
Shits.
The fact, literally, yes. I mean, the very fact that the Delfinos some of them are young and some of them old means that some of them die. Death exists in the Mario world, even though we don't see it, and therefore there are real stakes to this graffiti. I can't believe we're talking about this right now.
I can believe it.
Cherish life and never waste.
Everyone loves a sunshiny day. We're gonna keep it that way.
Cause clean is better than dirty, and dirty's meaner than clean.
Let's all lend a helping hand. Mario can't do it alone. He'll spray his water to fly around and clean the sludge that's on the ground.
Cause clean is better than dirty, and dirty's meaner than clean.
Super Mario Sunshine, only for Nintendo.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
I actually know. You should have played that before, because now I know exactly what you're saying. That is so weird.
Yeah.
That was the weirdest ad you've maybe ever played on the show.
Bunch of kids, and then like a guy in like the worst looking Mario costume you've ever seen.
They never look good though.
But it's like
that one was particularly bad.
But it's like they could have had just like a guy, like in like the Mario movie or like the Mario Super Show, where like just dressed in the clothes.
Yeah.
But it's like a big
they could have used also some of their millions and millions of dollars to buy a slightly better Mario
or
set.
like CG Mario in or something.
Yeah.
Like
although that we saw how that worked in one of the other ads, right? And it was not great.
Yeah.
No, they just can't seem to nail this.
Yeah.
Like ads with Mario in it.
Yeah.
Yikes, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird ad. Devin, if someone wanted to watch that ad, where might it be tweeted?
On Twitter.com.
Twitter.com.
/Gameography Pod.
At Gameography Pod.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.com.
And you can visit us online.
On the web.
On the interwebs.
On the web.com.
Where Nintendo does not want you to be.
Oh, they do not want you to be there. It's a fad.
GameographyPod.com.
GameographyPod.com. GameographyCom.pod. JK, that one's not real. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
That's our competitor.
We cannot be held liable for anything that pops up on your computer if you go to that.
You will get a virus.
Yeah.
Devin uploaded a virus on that website just to stop people from typing.
It's a virus that makes you automatically download Gameographies.
Yeah. Your computer will never stop playing Gameography pods.
It's really like top 10 worst viruses you can get.
BuzzFeed's top 10 Gameography's top 10 worst computer viruses.
All right, moving on to Windwaker, The Legend of Zelda. I believe this came out 2003. I should say Mario came out 2002.
Okay.
So this game has a bit of a... Listen, everyone loves it now, but at the time.
Oh yeah,
we
you're
talked
right,
about this
I forgot.
before. How like they
Yeah.
showed like a more realistic, like they were like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
like what Zelda could look like on the GameCube.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, they showed like, and this is the next Zelda game, and people were like, what?
Yeah.
Or it was like split between people being like, this is awesome, and then probably like a more vocal, like angry,
Yeah.
horrible, like video game fan.
As it always is with video
Yeah.
games and Nintendo in particular.
Yeah.
But
just being like, this sucks. This isn't what I wanted.
This is for kids.
Yeah. This is, well, and it was like it was like feeding into that whole perception of Nintendo at the time.
Yeah.
Of just like, this is only for kids.
Yeah.
Um,
But and I mean, I've always loved this graphic style since I
Yeah.
was a kid at the time it came out. And
but even now, it's like, it just objectively is great.
yeah, it's objectively a good style. I mean, it's just awesome looking and like fun. But I do kind of get where they're coming from because I had only ever played it kind of in isolation and like in like just the grand space of history where it's like of
Yes.
Zelda history.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, there's Wind Waker, just like there is Ocarina of Time and there's Twilight Princess. It's like there's
Yeah.
lots of different Zeldas, but
Yeah.
playing it this week, today I played some of it and like looking at it as like I just played Ocarina and then I played Majora's Mask and then this comes out. It's like that's weird.
It is like a very distinct, like, swing away. Because, like,
Yeah.
Majora's Mask, like, went in, like, the more dark direction, and this is, like, far the other direction.
And I think that to me this is the start of multiple Zelda timelines because or maybe not even timelines, but just the non-linear like nature of the story of Zelda as a series. Because in the first like, several Zeldas, I think you do get some of that where it's like every game is a different Link.
Except for the first two.
Yeah. And so the first two are one and then Link to the Past and then you get but there's something about where they're so different stylistically that it's so new that it doesn't feel intentional, whereas to me if I were a gamer at the time, it's like Ocarina and then the direct sequel, Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
I would 100% be expecting the next thing that happens in Link's life.
Yeah.
My friend Link. And so the fact that this starts out in the now kind of established Zelda style of like, this is a completely different person in a completely different time carrying out the tradition of Link. That is like a huge swing for some reason to me.
I guess. I mean, it's the same thing as, like, they did on the N64 and the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I don't but just something about it where it's like those first few Zelda games just don't have that much of a story to me, or it doesn't like it just isn't as like especially like the first one, it's like
Yeah, the first one for sure.
I just haven't played Link to the Past really, and so like but
I mean, it's very, like, clear it's a different thing.
yeah.
But
I don't know. Something to me reads as like that's a shocking, interesting choice.
shocking.
Shocking.
Yeah. But, like, well, it came out of, like, Aonuma, who's the director of this game, and obviously director of of Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
He hated that, like, demo that they made of like what a realistic like looking Zelda game would look. He was like, I don't want to just do the same thing that we've been doing.
Yeah.
And so, like, what I guess it's like somebody at Nintendo like drew a cartoony looking Link, and then he was like, oh, we should do it like this, basically. Yeah. And then that's it. Just went from there. I think, like, so I think it makes sense from their perspective of like, we just don't want to like, because the other thing is like, I mean, obviously, like the whole like ocean and you like sailing around is like new, but like there isn't a ton of new like stuff.
Yeah. There's nothing new except for the whole baseline conception of the world. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and the visual style and the sound style.
I'm saying like besides that stuff, like the like as far as like gameplay goes.
Yeah. No, they
didn't have
I'm
like
joking,
crazy new idea.
Yeah, I'm joking, but it literally is in almost every single way, like almost like a reskin of like Ocarina of Time or something.
Yeah.
But then also you're in the water world from the movie Waterworld.
Yeah, you're playing as who is it in that?
Mel Gibson? Is that who it is?
I don't think Sean Connery.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know who it is.
That's so long ago.
Here, I'm gonna play a little bit of the title theme from the Wind Waker. And the music is obviously great, as we talked about. Press start. That's what it says. So, apparently, Miyamoto is the one playing the mandolin on this track,
Oh my gosh.
which is amazing.
Just that like chord. Bling.
Probably, there's a little bit of plucking at the beginning, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know how was this recorded? Are these live instruments then?
I would assume so. I feel like because like obviously with them transitioning to disc, I feel like the GameCube is probably the first one where it's not just like all like MIDI style.
Yeah.
Like it's like pre-recorded files.
Yeah.
So I assume that is like.
It also just like if you like the soundtrack to Smash Bros. Melee comes to mind. It's like, you know, very synthy and a lot of MIDI, but it's like it's something about it feels a high resolution to a degree that I think it was probably like rendered in computer and not in the game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I feel like we talked about this game a good amount prior. Yeah. But do you have any other thoughts you want to?
Yeah, you know, well, so when we talked about it before, I hadn't played it in a while, and I remember you saying in particular that the opening sequence is boring, and I think I disagree. I really think that I disagree, even though I think I already disagreed, but I played that this morning, and I kind of stopped once you get on the pirate ship, and I guess part of your criticism was the next part, but
yeah, no, I liked that part. Okay, like there was nothing wrong. I didn't have any problems with that. Like the first island, like it's a little slow, but like that's fine.
Yeah.
It was like, it was after it was like the sneaking part that I had more of a problem with.
Yeah.
So like the biggest criticism of this game, like at the time and like still, I guess, probably is like the Triforce quest at the end of the game.
Yeah, the like really long
where
one.
You have to just like sail around like the whole map.
And someone explained it to me that you have to play the whole game again, basically. Just like you have to do a bunch of dungeons a second time.
Yeah. Do you have to do dungeons? I thought it was just like
maybe not. I don't know.
I don't
maybe
actually
you just
know
have
what
to
it
go
is.
from place to place. And then there's like a tower where you do like a bunch of fights, just like literally like 100 fights or something.
Jeez.
Like that's probably not a real number, but just like a preposterous amount.
A lot. Yeah.
Like it's one of the things that they just fully cut out or like greatly reduced in the remake for Wii U.
Yeah. So
HD.
One thing I didn't know is that like so the game was released in Japan first, and when they released it in like United States and like I assume in Europe and stuff, they did the same thing. They made it like shorter, so it's even longer.
What?
In the original Japanese?
Oh my gosh!
Which is just insane.
That is wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
How could they have even made it longer?
Because I've like heard it's like 10 hours or like it's like a long thing. That you have to like do.
Just that thing at the end, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Like the whole. It's like, I think because I was like looking at like how long all of the Zelda games are.
Yeah.
For research of this podcast.
Yeah.
And, like which ones are we gonna play? And I'm pretty sure Wind Waker is like by far maybe not by far, but like it's definitely the longest one.
Yeah. Is it longer than Breath of the Wild?
Well, no, but like
I mean, probably up there.
I mean, I think but it's like what. You can't even like say how long Breath of the Wild is. I feel like
that's definitely true.
It's like if you like obviously you like mainline Breath of the Wild is probably you can do that pretty quick.
I mean, you can do that in like a few minutes. Yeah.
Well, yes, not if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like even if you like do all four of the like thing like main dungeons and then go to Ganon, like you can probably do it faster.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, like all of these games basically sold less than their predecessors. Yeah, but I do feel like Wind Waker is probably like the most like critically acclaimed of all of these GameCube games. Like it won a bunch of Game of the Year awards.
Yeah, and like while I'd probably say of these games, the ones that I would most want to play again, start to finish, Sunshine's the bottom of that list. I have no desire to ever beat that game unless they release a finished version of it. And this one is still pretty
like a
low.
remake for the Switch?
Yeah.
Okay, please go on.
like Pikmin would be the top. I'm gonna play that probably 4 or 5 more times before I die, start to finish.
Before the end of this year.
Yeah. And then this is pretty low, honestly. Where I if they release the Wii U version on Switch, I will try to beat it on there. But I almost, even then, it's like, it is just so long that it's like, as much as I just adore like the feeling of this game and so much of the design and stuff, it's just like, I don't really want to play the whole thing. Even though I would critically in my head rank it higher than a lot of the other games we're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Was that worth saying?
I don't know about that. I think it's of these games the one I would like want to continue playing the most, maybe. I also played some of Four Swords Adventures.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which
I should have played
was like as a kid, I had the Four Swords / Link to the Past on Game Boy Advance, and it was always like a dream of mine to play it because you can play the first like 10 minutes of it.
Oh, is that what it is?
So it's technically, I thought it was the same game, but it's technically like a different game. It's like a sequel, the GameCube one.
Oh, okay.
But like, so on the Game Boy Advance one, you can only play it if you're linked up with other people.
Oh my gosh, that's
so
insane.
it's like borderline impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, obviously, like I knew lots of other kids with Game Boy Advances.
Yeah.
And I knew other kids with like links, but not that link, but like the Game Boy Advance like link cable. But like, I didn't know anyone else with that game, so I was like, what am I going to do?
I mean, honestly, I barely even knew people who had both a Game Boy Advance, a connection cable, and a desire to come over to my house and play video games with me. Like, that's a very small Venn diagram. And so then to add on to that, people who had this game, which is like, definitely was never like a very, like, widely
well, and that's
game.
like thinking about like the link or like just like multiplayer on Game Boy. It's like the reason why like Pokemon worked is because you could just be like, oh, I like we're at school together or whatever. And it's like we can just like trade or whatever. And it takes like a few minutes. It's like we're not like sitting there playing it together.
Exactly.
It's like,
because I never did that.
Yeah, that's like crazy.
Just with a cable, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but Four Swords Adventures, you can play by yourself. You can also play multiplayer, and the multiplayer is insane because the other players besides player one play on Game Boy Advances. They hook up to the GameCube.
I actually did it once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I had the GameCube game. I loved that game.
Yeah.
Probably as a child, the farthest I ever got into a Zelda game. I don't think I beat it, but I definitely got like a substantial way through. And it was so fun just to play by yourself. But then I think Matt Kinney, I had him come over one single time with his Game Boy Advance, and neither of us really had fun doing it. I think because I was playing on a TV and he was playing on a Game Boy. It's like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
And also it's like,
you know what's like in one of the interesting things about that game though is like when you go into like buildings and stuff, it pulls up a little like simulated Game Boy Advance screen.
Does it?
Yeah.
What?
It's like the map, like the whole screen, and then like a Game Boy Advance screen on top of that. That then, like when you're inside the house, that's what like your map, and then when you go out, it goes back. It's pretty great.
Man,
it's such a weird game. It's like it has to be one of the weirdest Zelda games.
Yeah,
it's like an arcade version of Zelda, is what I was like.
Kind of, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because it's like there's like none of like the open world,
yeah,
like exploration aspects of Zelda. It's just like play this little like mini level, and like there's like little like puzzles and stuff, but it's not like you're not like getting a new item from this dungeon. It's like
really?
No,
you just have all the items.
No, you start every level with 3 hearts, and then you can get like heart containers, but those only last for that level.
What?
And then you can get items, but you can only hold 1 item at a time. So it's like you can get the boomerang.
Yeah.
Or it's like you get a new item, then it's like you can get bombs. So sometimes you just have to like get rid of your item.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Who made that?
Nintendo. Miyamoto produced it, but it was I don't know, just some other guys.
Yeah, not
like
Aonuma.
Not necessarily. Yeah, I think it was produced by him and Miyamoto, but then it was directed by like a couple other guys who
Zelda games were either directed by AG or nobody.
Yeah.
This is the latter.
Yeah, but I'm like it's really fun.
Yeah.
But it is like it's like it was kind of similar for Pikmin to me, where it was like I would play for like half an hour or to an hour and then be like, okay, like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'll come back to it. It wasn't like it's like very bite-sized.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like that's kind of what they were going for, maybe too.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of like a multiplayer experience that'd be fun, and like you just kind of.
Yeah, like
I mean, yeah, actually, the way you're describing it makes it sound like it'd be kind of a perfect like multiplayer Zelda, where you just do a small little dungeon together. Then you don't have the progress that like.
Exactly, like you could be like in the middle of the game, and then like someone comes.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, okay, you can just start here, and there's like no difference.
Huh.
Also, Tingle's in it.
Yep, I remember that was classic.
Tingle's in Windwaker, right? At some point.
I don't actually know that he is.
I think I read that he is, but
interesting. I don't remember him. I only played half the game, I think.
Oh, okay.
Although Beetle that's his origin from from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird guy.
Do you have other stuff to say about this? Because I have a final thought on. No. Actually, this is about Wind Waker, not Four Swords. But just I just had one. I had this thought today where I said this about the first Zelda. I could probably say it about basically every other Zelda, and it's more actually a comment on Breath of the Wild. But this game in particular, I feel like is the direct predecessor to Breath of the Wild, where I almost feel like Breath of the Wild is this idea just executed kind of bigger and different. Because, hear me out. I feel like
I don't disagree.
I feel like what is this called? Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Is the most open world of them all. Yeah. Basically, other than Breath of the Wild, where it's
you can just sail around. Anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like you literally just like explore and like go on these big like travels that kind of lead you to other little places that are like the kind of like the side quests of the game.
Yeah.
Which is obviously in every Zelda game to some degree, but there's something very open worldy exploration about it to me.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Where you just like will come across an island.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
In the exact same way as Breath of the Wild. Yeah. And man, maybe that's all that is to this theory. But I was also thinking about how like Breath of the Wild, even though it's like he has the physique of like an adult and not a cartoon chibi Link, like his body is like a Link body. It's actually still kind of cartoony.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like and even,
definitely like the art style
obviously like Twilight Princess, which is arguably the most gritty, realistic Zelda game visually, is like I feel like that's still less cartoony than this Link, like in Breath of the Wild. Like I feel like Breath of the Wild Link's face is almost, and the face of all the characters are like the most cartoony of the real life or the like kind of real life designed Zelda games. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I just took it as like. I don't know. Like I never even questioned the fact that it was like like visually, it's like a descendant from Wind Waker for sure. I mean, because Wind Waker is also where the Koroks are from.
Yeah, and the bird people.
Yeah, the bird people. Yeah.
Yeah, and Beetle, as we said. Also, and this is the thought that I just remembered made me think this morning when I was playing it. Okay, this is a spoiler for Wind Waker, and I. Really, if you haven't played it, don't listen to this because it's my favorite moment of the whole game. Do you want to just know this, Devin? Do you mind?
I think I already know it.
Okay, well, it's like halfway through the game. I don't even remember how this happens, but the boat takes you to Hyrule Castle, and you meet the king, you meet Zelda, and it's like you fight the villains invading it, and you find out that the watery world you've been playing in this whole time, and this is a classic... in the future in Ocarina of Time, the Dark World and Link to the Past.
Where we talked about
exactly.
The halfway through.
Exactly. The like reveal. You find out that that Hyrule has been covered in water in an apocalyptic event. Yeah. And you are in a post-apocalyptic Hyrule, which I guess I haven't played Twilight Princess, so maybe that's kind of what that is. But I feel like I don't know. I guess they really are all like that, because Ocarina of Time is that same feeling. But the thing that defines Breath of the Wild for me is the fact that it feels like you're in a post-apocalyptic Zelda world, where it's like the end of the world has come and this is the ruins of Hyrule. Yeah,
I'd say Breath of the Wild is definitely like more that than other ones.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is essentially that same idea, but just not executed to the like level that Breath of the Wild is.
Yeah, it's not like. People didn't really like die. Is
Yeah,
what like
exactly. Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's like you just don't really see as many people.
Yeah, and it's like you go to the Goron place and it's like everything's different, but it's like whereas in Breath of the Wild, you go to like where Lalon Ranch was and it's the ruins of a ranch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also I think there's something about in Breath of the Wild, you only ever see it in flashbacks. So every once in a while you get lost in a flashback and you're focused on it. And it's one of my favorite things about that whole game is the moment when you leave a flashback and it's this bright world with Zelda in it and Hyrule Castle, and then it's like the rain, the silence, the darkness of post-apocalyptic Hyrule.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about Breath of the Wild is that like you can like what caused the apocalypse is still there.
Yeah,
It's like there's no like the spider robot guys. Like if you run into those, you're like, okay, this is why the world is like this.
Yeah.
Whereas like there's nothing really like that in Ocarina, and I assume in
yeah.
I mean like there's water, I guess.
Yeah, the water and pirates, but it's like yeah.
It's like you can't run into something like so scary in Ocarina of Time. You know, that's like
that's
okay.
that's a good point.
It's like the zombies are there, and it's like those are like scary at the
Yeah.
beginning, but then it's like okay, these like you just run past them.
Yeah. Honestly, after that, it's really not post-apocalyptic in any way.
I mean,
but
it is
that
really freaky when they like
yeah.
scream at you and you get frozen.
And I mean, that's just such an iconic moment.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the same feeling, but
Yeah.
it only really happens once.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Good thought.
It is just I just feel like the Zelda series is so linked in a way that I didn't even realize before doing these last few episodes, where it's like the Zelda game is so different every time in certain ways, but is so specifically in the same formula in a way that I just love, you know? I don't know. I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
Never noticed it before.
I have a take on the GameCube in general that
Please.
I don't know how you will feel about.
Please. Yeah, because I have some thoughts about the GameCube in general too. So let's talk about
I feel
the
like
console.
I was thinking about it and I was like, I think this might be like the worst Nintendo console. Like at least from my like perspective and like the games that I like, it's like there's just like not a lot there.
Wow. That's a sad thing to hear.
Yeah.
I don't totally disagree with you though.
Yeah. It's like it's not like these games that we're talking about, like they're not like bad games, and obviously there's other good games on it, like Smash and
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to talk about that, but we've clearly run out of time. So
yeah. But then I was also trying to think like what other games are even on it that like it's like you kind of run out pretty fast.
yeah, I mean it's kind of like the 64 where it's like
yeah.
But the only thing is that it's kind of post the era where that makes as much sense to have a console with like 20 good games essentially, where it's kind of like
and
every
also,
other console had like a million games.
Yeah, and also clearly like I just don't have the attachment that I have for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
but also it's like the Nintendo 64. The reason why I feel like it's more like objectively better is it's like it like did all of this stuff like first.
Yeah.
And like the GameCube versions of those games, like these games didn't do a ton to really like obviously like Pikmin and stuff are brand new, but so those aren't the same, but
yeah, I think I do kind of agree with you. Because I mean, and part of that is that of all the mainline like home Nintendo consoles are just like incredible, honestly. Where it's like every one of them has a handful of games that are iconic masterpieces, and so it's kind of like the worst Nintendo console is still a great console, and it's like this might be it, tied with the Wii U, you know.
Yeah, I think I'd pick the Wii U, even though I had never had it. I
would-
never
I
had
would-
either of these, but like,
No way.
but the thing is like a lot of like the best Switch games are actually Wii U games. Like
That's
Breath
true.
of the Wild is a Wii U game. Think about that.
Pikmin 3.
Pikmin 3.
Yeah.
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 Like Mario 3D World or whatever it's called. Like
Yeah.
the Donkey Kong game. I don't know. There's like literally like half of the Switch games I own are actually just Wii U games that
That's
they've
so funny.
updated.
Yeah. That is true, yeah.
So it's like, oh, it's actually like some of the best games ever made were actually Wii U games.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like I think that one, all the games we're talking about here, other than Pikmin, are are better in style than like a lot of other Nintendo games, but all kind of worse in substance.
Yeah.
I think I basically said that before.
Yeah.
And then I guess what the thing is for me is that it's like, I think that this, if we're looking at Miyamoto's work chronologically in his gameography, even so to say, you see here a jump in the style that defines Nintendo from here on out, where 64...
I do wonder if that, like, really has anything to do with Miyamoto. You know what I mean?
I don't know, yeah.
It seems like maybe that's just, like... I mean, maybe to a certain extent, like... But it seems like he was probably so, like, not attached to that element of these games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is interesting that, like, that, like, the GameCube kind of style and then, like, the DS style, like, those, like, two kind of similar styles, like, really are just, like, the Nintendo style that we still have.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I just don't know that the quality of the games caught up to that, you know, in certain aspects.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I kind of agree with you, but the GameCube was, like, you know, I say before the Nintendo 64 was what I played as a kid, and so it has, like, a truly magical nostalgia to me where I didn't even understand it. Like, I that's the console I was playing when I couldn't read what the words were.
Yeah.
But the GameCube was, like...
15?
Yeah. But the GameCube was like, that was when I learned what video games were. And so it's like, like I don't mean to be like sentimental about it, but it's like, it is like intrinsic to my personal history and taste in all aspects. So, you know.
Yeah. I remember, we don't even have to keep this in the pod, but I remember, like, because I didn't have a GameCube, but like I heard about Windwaker through Taylor Brown.
Ah, wow.
In grade school.
Wow.
She like talked about how like awesome it was. And then I remember like wanting it briefly, but then I think I just like forgot about it. And also I think I just like heard about how it was like just like very similar to Ocarina of Time. So I was like, I'll just play that again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's funny. You know, actually, another thought I had this morning about Wind Waker, just last thing, is like, what happens to Link from the last one? It's so funny, you know? Like,
there's like a whole complicated timeline thing.
Of course, yeah.
That I think is like kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like I don't like when people like bring it up.
Yeah. Because it's not like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't designed that way. It's like a retroactive description of a bunch of kind of like
and it's like that stuff isn't in like the games, so like don't like
so it's not real.
Even though it's like yes, Nintendo said like that like they're like this is like the actual order. It's like but who cares?
Yeah, and I also just I honestly don't believe that. I feel like they make it sound like they've always known that's what it was, and I don't think that's true. Yeah, I think it's fully just a lie.
Yeah, there's like this whole thing of like there's like a different timeline. Depending on like whether Link defeats Ganon or not at the end of Ocarina of Time. Which
I
is
think
but why does that exist? Like it's like who plays Ocarina of Time is like, oh, I didn't defeat Ganon. Yeah, I'll just stop playing.
That's an interesting idea that clearly was come up with after the fact. Yeah. And also, all the Legend of Zelda like games to me are the form of them in this like disconnected nature where there's a different Link every time most of the time. To me, that's a comment on, it's like a reflection of the like place of storytelling and myth in the human like psychology historically, where it's like you tell the same story over and over again and it changes every time. Yeah. And also like, you know, the archetypical stories, this is Young, right? Kind of from last episode, where it's like, the story of Link as the hero is an innate story in the human psychology, and so it's the fact that the story is being told over and over again is actually not a bunch of real events that all happened. It's like the misremembering of the human story and the slightly falsely told version of it. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's also I mean, it's just how like drama and like stories work, where it's like. You like as soon as like the adventure or whatever like the action is over it's like you're gonna leave the hero it's exactly, like and they're just gonna like go off and do their thing. It's like that like the story's over.
yeah
Like you don't need to always know like what happens next. I feel like there's like a weird like element of our like culture that like is just like obsessed with like not with games in particular, but just like with everything. They're just like, we need to know, like we need like a reunion of this like show. It's like but like we don't like.
Yeah, I get that because like yes, in a story it's like Link does this stuff, and then Link probably just lives a life after that. But then also it's like think about your own life as a person. It's like you probably can think of certain arcs that have happened to you personally that are like the most significant, that are the things that so far in your life would be the Devon movie. But it's like you have also had other arcs that were close to as significant, and it's like things have happened and you change. And in that same way, when we get attached to a character, it's like, yeah, I would be curious to see what Devon is like 30 years from now. Like that would be so interesting. Why wouldn't that be the same for Mario?
Yeah, you like how Mario changes.
I know. I picked the one example. It's not at all like a part of this.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, yes, I understand like the want to like have more of the thing you like, and and like being attached to a character and stuff. But it's also like, I feel like we really don't know how to like let go of stuff in modern society, where it's just like, I mean, it's like the same thing with like we're like a very like remake happy society at this point too.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's kind of, I think, because of like capitalism showing us that familiarity is a profit maker, and so
but that's because people psychologically want it. So
that makes sense to me. I don't think I blame the people. I blame the capitalism there for responsible for some bad media.
I guess it's not even like always that it's bad. It's just like
unnecessary.
We don't always
a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's just like we don't need that every time.
Yeah,
guys, like,
like
I don't know.
This needs to end. This podcast.
All right. Thanks for listening. You heard our Twitter.
You heard it. I'm not going to say it again for you.
No.
If you didn't write it down, then you weren't going to write it down.
Got to listen to this episode again.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
We don't say it in any other episode, so.
There's no way to find this out. You have none of the information to find out the location of our website.
There's certainly no way you could like search it.
Yeah.
So
nothing about the screen that this is being played off of could tell you.
Being played on a screen. We're only broadcast on FM, right?
We're only broadcasted on Teleview for NES systems, SNES.
Oh, that's the dream. Once we get on there,
once we get our satellite system up,
podcasting's dead. Long live.
Teleview casting. What is it called? I always say it wrong. Teleview. Let's say it's that.
Yeah. Was it not Stellaview or something? I don't know.
No.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.